Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Vandercook, and today I am going to teach you how to compare fractions. You guys are doing so great on fractions. I think you're going to find this is really easy. Let's start with something small, and then I will show you a model, and we will go over a few other things throughout the slides. Let's start with 3/4 and compare that to 2/8. Now I know the first thing Mr. Leatherwood would want me to do is to do a model to show you how we compare fractions using models. So I'm going to draw a nice big square here, and I'm going to split it in half. I'm going to let the top half represent my 3/4, my bottom half represent my 2/8. Now I need 4 equal parts for my 3/4 because I'm looking at my denominator, and my denominator for 2/8 says I need 8 equal parts. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 3/4, 1, 2, 3, 2/8, 1, 2. And we can definitely see that 3/4 is greater than 2/8. Let's go ahead and do that. 3/4 is greater than 2/8. Now, continuing to look at this fraction, can we simplify this fraction 2/8? Of course we can. There's a factor that goes into 8 and then goes into 2, and it is 2, isn't it? 2 over 2 equals 1/4. And so if we wanted to, we could look at this. Let me get my red back. And we could take our 8 and actually break it down into the exact same number of parts that you get with 3/4, 4 equal parts, because our new denominator is 4. And we would have 1 part of our 4 by simplifying the fraction 2/8. So there's a couple ways you can compare the fractions. You can use a model, you can simplify the fraction, and you can definitely see that 3/4 is greater than 1/4. Or you can simplify both fractions if you need to. Or you can find your least common multiple, which we'll talk about later too. Okay, so now let's move on to something with matching denominators. Okay, for matching denominators, let's use the fraction 16/24, and let's compare it to 8/24. Now, we know that 16 out of 24 is greater than 8 out of 24. That's pretty easy to understand. If someone gave you a candy bar that broke up into 24 parts, would you want 16 of those parts, or would you want 8 of those parts? That's a pretty easy one to understand. 16/24 is greater than 8/24. But what about a fraction like 3/4? Hold on just a second. We're going to get some more room here. Let's start over. Okay, so a fraction like 3/4, and compare it to 11/16. Now, this is a little bit harder to do in our head, right? Because we don't have equal parts. So what we want to do is find our equal parts. Let's see, let's take 4 and see if we can find our least common multiple. You all remember how to do that, don't you? 4, 8, 12, 16. Oh, look, 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 I have a common multiple, because the common multiple of 16 is 16, right? I have a least common multiple of 16 for both fractions. So I do not have to change my 11/16, because 11/16 times 1 over 1 equals 11/16, right? We're not doing any changing to our fraction of 11/16. But 3/4, what do we need to do to get a new denominator of 16? Least common multiple tells us we need to add 4 here, or multiply 4 here. 4 times 4 equals 16. Whatever we do on the bottom, we have to do on the top. 3 times 4 is 12. So our new fraction for 3/4 is 12/16, because now we have two of the same denominator. So let's just do this, make this a 12/16, and now, is 12/16 greater or less than 11/16? We know that it is greater. So we could technically say that 3/4 is greater than 11/16. Does everybody agree with that? Yay, Mrs. Vandercook got it right. Okay, now that we've talked about matching denominators, let's talk about matching numerators. Let's take a fraction of, get a pen here that works, 3/9 and compare it to 3/20. Now, before we talked about that the larger or the smaller denominator always has the largest parts, which we know that from our models. So we know that, well, here, let's just draw a model. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to try to draw the same size square right here. And I know that I have to have 4 in one direction because 4 times 5 is 20. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got a group of 9 here and a group of 20 here. And I have one area out of 9 and one area of 20. If I'm just comparing 1 to 1, my one area out of my 9 is much larger than my one piece out of my 20. So I know that 1/9 is going to give me a greater value than 1/20. So if I'm comparing 3/9 to 3/20, so I know from looking at this that by getting 3 pieces out of 9, I'm getting a bigger bang for my buck than I'm going to get for 3 pieces out of 20. Again, if you break a candy bar into 9 pieces and a candy bar into 20 pieces, which group would you rather have, the 3 pieces from the 9 or the 3 pieces from the 20? Yep, I'm with you. I want the 3 pieces from the 9 because I'm going to get more candy. So we know that 3/9 is greater, whoops, what's going on with my pen? Is greater than 3/20. Okay, now we're going to go over benchmarks. Okay, using benchmarks. One of my favorite benchmarks is the number line. So let me just go ahead and draw a number line here for you. And we know that the start of our number line is going to be 0 and the end of our number line is going to be 1. We're going to be comparing a one section of a number line. Let's say we want to compare the fraction 2/5 and 4/6. Okay? Now, looking at the number line, you guys are getting really, really good at number lines. We know that right here is about 1/2. Correct? Using our visual. So 2/5, if we are going to break this number line up, we've got 1, 2, 3, oops, let me fix this. Whoop, boop. We've got 1, we know that about halfway through to 5 is 2.5, right? And then this would be 5 over here. So we've got 1, 1.5, well, 2.5, and then 5. This makes 5 on our number line. So we know that 2/5 is less than 2.5. So our 2/5 is going to fall about right here on the number line. Right? A little less than 2.5. Now, what about our 4/6 on our number line? This would be 1. And this would be 6, and we know that the halfway point from 1 and 6 is 3, correct? So, this is representing 6 on our number line, and 4/6 then, we already did 2/5, would be 4, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be about right here on our number line. So, comparing 2/5 and 4/6, we know that 4/6 is greater than 2/5 and 2/5 is less than 4/6. Benchmarks are a great way to compare fractions. Okay, so one last thing that we want to look at is bigger or smaller parts. Now, this is pretty easy concept to think of. I'm going to draw a model to show you what we're going to compare today. And let's do like 7/8 compared to 8/9. Now again, we have denominators that are different, 8 and 9. But what is going to have, what is going to be the bigger piece? Remember we talked about earlier that the smaller number in the denominator is always more than the larger. And that is because you are getting more pieces. 7 out of 8 pieces is more than 8 out of 9 pieces. So let's draw a model, and I think you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. I'm going to draw the same size square for both. And in this one, I need 9 equal parts. Well, kind of equal. And in this one, I need 8. Okay, so surface area, they look about the same. I have 8 parts here, 8 parts in this one, 9 parts in the one on the right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts in this one, and 8 parts in the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so what piece, if I was going to pick the candy bar, and you're going to give me 7 out of 8 pieces of this candy bar, or 8 out of 9 pieces of this candy bar, which candy bar are you going to pick? Oh yeah, I'm picking the candy bar cut up into 8 pieces, because even though I'm only getting 7 pieces, I'm getting more pieces, more candy bar than I'm getting with 8 out of 9. So 7/8 is greater than 8 out of 9, than 8/9. And so I'm picking that candy bar. Anyway, I hope that one of my very first videos, all by myself, has helped you learn a little bit about comparing fractions. And, you know, we're going to work on it in class. So I'm not sure if Mr. Leatherwood's posting a quiz, but I'm sure he is. So take a look for the quiz. If there is one, take it. If there's not, we'll see you tomorrow in class. Have a great night.